Hi, my name is Joe Blanchard, and I am going to be presenting my business continuity plan for the Bentley branch of Wells Fargo in Fairbanks, Alaska. And Wells Fargo is one of the largest banks in America. It has 6,500 different retail locations, has about $1 trillion in assets, and I was blessed with the fact that my workplace comes with a very large and extensive business continuity plan. And I also was very lucky in that I, as a service manager at that location, am responsible for maintaining that binder, making sure that my staff understand that binder, and utilizing the forms and procedures in that binder when it is necessary to do so. So what I would like to do with you today is I'm going to be presenting a much shorter version than the 300-page binder that is in my office, because that is a representation of the national bank as a whole. And what I did is I narrowed down the scope of the project so that it was just the particular branch that I am in and how it would deal with particular business continuity events and what type of procedures and plans were available for uh, our staff to take care of ourselves so that we continue to function and that our community of Fairbanks would be served by those functions. So what I would like to do is, if you have the business continuity plan in front of you, I would like to move to page 3. And page 3 has the org chart. As I just said, my position is one of service manager. They're found in the middle. I am not in charge of everything, but my boss is the branch manager. And there's 4 bankers. They originate loans and new accounts. And then below that, I have my lead teller who assists me with approvals for large dollar amounts or unusual transactions. And then 5 other tellers who are rotated on the line throughout the week. And they are a fantastic staff. We have 12 people in all, and I am very excited to work with them. I also had the opportunity to work with some individuals who happen to be on this list. It is our emergency contacts list. You'll find it also on page 3. Gopi, my boss, Vicky, her boss, and then Greg, her boss. These are 3 individuals who I had the opportunity to speak with about our business continuity plan and about not only the scope of what my assignment was going to present today, but also to make sure that I wasn't providing any confidential information on this report to you. A bank is a very secure location, and so we always need to maintain that no matter what. And so I've gone through some pains to make sure that I communicate with them exactly what I'd be presenting with you today, and it's nothing that isn't vital information. So that is another aspect of my business continuity plan that might be a little bit different than the official corporate one. Is you're not going to get any special codes or information that would reveal our business plan to other people. So what I have on page 4 is a little bit about the revision methodology. We actually have a enterprise business continuity team that specifically exists to provide any updates to any of the forms that we have and any of the procedures that we follow when we're trying to protect our customers and our employees and our shareholders. My responsibility and the team's responsibility at Bentley is to, as new staff come on, to make sure that their phone numbers are added to our call trees, and to make sure that if we make any changes to how we do our opening or our closing, which are secure processes, that we update that as well to the business continuity plan, so that any individual that has a need to know could walk in, look at our plan, and know what Bentley needs to do in an emergency. If me and my manager both got hit by a bus, any one of the staff could pick up that binder and go from there. And I'm hoping that this smaller version of what we do also provides a resource for them as well. So I have a picture of Safeway here because, as you can see on page 4, our evacuation plan at Bentley actually involves the Oaken Keg in the Safeway store, which is right behind our location on near the Bentley Mall. And um, and what kind of emergencies would send us there? Fire, earthquake, anything that displaces employees and customers and provides us a close by, safe location until emergency crews can arrive. And we always want to make sure that folks know exactly how to get there. The next part that I want to show you is this map here. And this map is important because in Fairbanks, we don't just have one Wells Fargo location, we have 3. Now, my location is the letter C there on College Road, but we also have 2 other locations, A, which is the university location, and B, which is our Gaffney location. And one reason why this is important for a business continuity plan is because these other 2 locations really do serve as hot sites in the event that our Bentley location is unable to function anymore, or if we need resources. These 2 locations really operate as warehouses to get that information or documentation to our branch so that we can continue serving our customers and giving them the 3 locations that they need throughout town that are most convenient for them. So, and that is we also, you don't see it on here, but if you look on the map here between the letter B and the Fairbanks Ice Museum, there was a 4th location just recently closed called the Cushman branch. And the Cushman branch can be reutilized in the event that one of our branches were to shut down completely. So we still do have an opportunity there where we could use an existing building as a hot site either for storage or just to move staff over until things are safe or we've rebuilt or are taken care of the issue at hand. On page 5 of my business continuity, we've got executive summary, which I'll read real quick to you. The business continuity plan has been developed to protect all shareholders of Wells Fargo, including customers, employees, and local community members in Fairbanks. This business continuity plan is effectively assessed, managed, and reported, and it supports the operational risks throughout the Bentley location. So in order for this plan to be successful, it has to be tested, and it has to be trained on, and it has to be properly maintained. And it's very clear here that this affects everybody. If we shut down, it's going to hurt people all the way down. So the next slide I want to show you is our public relations slide. And the reason why I threw in a little slide like this is because a lot of folks will ask in my branch, if something happens, who do we talk to? And our communication channels are very clear for an incident. You go up the chain of command. So my tellers need to tell me, and I need to tell my branch manager. She needs to tell the district manager. And then all roads lead to when we're dealing with a public response, like if the newspaper calls or the TV people call, it's not our responsibility to give any remarks that aren't pre-screened by our public relations division, who then has a chance to talk to higher ups and really find out what is the best way to respond to the issue on the ground. We can say things that we don't mean to say, and it can cause a bad situation to get worse. And so by following the specific channel, you can protect the bank, you can protect your own assets. We do have the secession plan, and it's very similar to what I just talked about. It pretty much follows the communications channels that we have. In the event that the branch manager is not available to make a call on a managerial item, I, as a service manager, would then step up and serve as the branch manager under the guidance of the district manager. So it's service manager, branch manager, district manager, area president. We have a very clear succession line, and the top manager on the ground at the Bentley location is the one who is in charge of implementing and managing the business continuity plan when an incident occurs that requires its activation. So in that case, most of the time the branch manager is responsible for managing the incident, but in the event that they weren't there, I would do it, or a designee from the district manager would do it as well. So these plans are not very useful unless they are tested, and we have two major ways that we inform and test, and we always use it's a seminar type of approach, but it's called our huddle. And our huddle is about a 15-minute time at the beginning of the day where we communicate with our team and talk about different aspects of the business continuity plan and ask our tellers pointed questions about what would you do in the event of a robbery? What would you do in the event of a fire? What would you do in the event of a catastrophic disaster? And we just try to talk through those steps, not to scare people, but to make sure that folks are thinking a little bit clearly, what is my role? What am I looking for? What can I do? And we just want to make sure that everybody is really clear on that. We also do quarterly drills, and those drills are decided on by the district manager, but she picks a topic. She says, drill a robbery. And so we'll go through all the different aspects of what our response would be for that and how we can look for signs that it's occurring and what each team member's role is to ensure that business continuity continues. On a less frightening basis, what do you do if the computer's shut down? We do have manual forms that we provide that allow us to continue doing the important transactions that our customers require. So making sure that our tellers know and our managers know where those documents are and in what order are they implemented and what authority limits are you allowed when you get there. Those are important things. So the next slide that I have for you is critical functions. There are 6 different critical functions. I'll talk about the first 3 here. Processing deposit transactions, origination of lending products, and keeping customer information confidential. You imagine a bank needs to do these things, but they're very important. If we can't deposit transactions, if we can't put money in the bank, we don't have the money to do what we need to do. So that's why we have the manual forms. That's why we have the scanners that we have. That's why we have the software that we have, so we can get that money in there as quickly as possible. Same thing with our lending products. We need to get money out to the people who need it. That's our job. We're a financial intermediary, and we need to be ready to fill that role no matter what. And then also, if we want to continue having trust with our customers, we have to keep their information confidential. We also need to protect them. That's why we do have our cameras. That's why we have our alarm systems. And more importantly, the responsibility of our team is to be observant. We need to know who's in our branch, and we need to know why they're in there. And if we do that, then we can make sure that we protect our customers. We're always looking for fraud. That's another one of our critical functions. Making sure that the checks that we're receiving are not right off of Craigslist from somebody trying to scam another person. We're also trying to make sure that the money's not coming from untrusted sources. And within our bank, making sure that employees aren't tempted to engage in unethical behavior. And luckily I've never had to deal with that, but you never know. So you always want to be vigilant. You don't want to provide opportunities for people to move in that kind of direction. And when you keep everything secure, you lock your drawers, you make sure the vaults are closed, you just provide the lack of temptation that occurs, and you can keep those critical functions happening, because when the money's secure, the assets are not fraudulent, when people are protected, information is confidential, deposits are coming in, loans are going out, the bank's doing fantastic. So I'll be a little quick on the recovery time and point objectives. I did work with my management team on some approximations here, and you can read that on page 8. These numbers are really hard to make exact because a lot of what we do, there's a few aspects of the critical functions that are electronic, but we have backups such that the bank could operate for months at a time without them, technically. But it would never get to that point usually. But I mean, the bank used to operate without any of these things before, and it would continue to do so in the future. With the resources requirement, I did want to show off a couple of images there. I've got the cash counters here. These are going to be really valuable tools to make sure that we have, because if they're disabled, not only do we slow down the transaction time that we have with our customers, but these little guys actually provide a lot of security because they can detect counterfeit bills. And so we try to use our own eyes to do that. But if we don't have these items in here, it just makes our job a little bit harder on security. Vault, a lot of people imagine that a bank vault looks a little bit like what's on the left. Unfortunately, I got to be honest, it looks a little bit more like what you got here on the right, which is nothing too fancy. Definitely is still a safe, um, but it's there's no big giant winding. It's not as fun as you might think. It's not big giant piles of money there. So. Moving right along with the vital records, we've got a number of items that just need to be retained because if there are questions, concerns, or regulatory agencies that can shut us down if they're not all available. So we have a nice list of them here on page 10. They're kept in a secure location, they're updated, they're put into different folders, and they're shipped out to proper locations because we can't afford to have ourselves shut down for legal reasons just because we're not keeping in compliance with data on the ground. And that's a responsibility that we have as a Bentley branch. The two major critical systems, Store Vision Teller and Store Vision Platform, is what Wells Fargo uses. And they are the ones that help us process deposits and withdrawals. And they also assist with the loan origination. And we're just very excited to make sure that those two systems are up. But we do have a large, and I mean this with 300 pages, large amount of backup manual forms for every possible scenario that could ever happen ever. So beyond that, what I wanted to share with you, this is a little bit what like one of our offline transaction logs look like. Obviously, I can't show you what the actual form looks like, but here they would put the store number, their username, a date, and then they'd start writing down their account number, the name, the amount. And when it says transaction type, what we mean there is more specifically, was it a deposit? Was it a withdrawal? Was it a mortgage payment? Was it a loan payment? Was it a IRA deposit? Those individual retirement account. So we just want to know what it was so that when we get back online, we are better able to take care of it. So, and then finally on page 12, I provide an audit review guideline that kind of shows these are the kind of questions that I would ask my team to make sure that they are ready and able to use this business continuity guide when the time comes, and that they understand all the different techniques and procedures that they've learned throughout the year. So I appreciate working with me on this business continuity plan, listening to my voice. This was a really great project. I'm excited to do it, and thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.